Today we are diving headfirst into one of the most intriguing matchups of the early NFL season, as the Raiders gear up to face the Washington Commanders in what could be a pivotal game for both squads. Both teams enter this week with a record of 1 win and 1 loss, each coming off defeats that left them hungry for redemption. The Raiders, fresh off a tough game against the Los Angeles Chargers, are looking to right the ship and prove that last week's performance was just a minor setback rather than a statement about where this team is heading. The Commanders, meanwhile, face the Green Bay Packers, arguably one of the toughest teams in the league, and while losing to a team of that caliber isn't necessarily alarming, it does highlight areas that need urgent attention if they want to stay competitive in this season's landscape. The stakes are high, the motivation is palpable, and the energy heading into this matchup is exactly what makes early-season NFL football so captivating. One of the most significant storylines heading into this game revolves around the quarterback situation for the Commanders. Jayden Daniels, who has been under a microscope since his breakout moments last year, is currently dealing with a knee sprain that has left his status for this game in serious doubt. An MRI confirmed the injury following their loss to Green Bay. And while it's not a long-term concern, the decision about whether he plays this week is critical. The Commanders have learned lessons from the past, particularly when it comes to handling young quarterbacks with knee issues, and there's reason to believe that the coaching staff will err on the side of caution. If Daniels is sidelined, the Raiders suddenly find themselves in a much more favorable position. Marcus Mariota stepping in as the starter changes the dynamic entirely. Mariota, while a capable quarterback, does not possess the same skill set or upside as Daniels, and his presence on the field provides the Raiders with a tactical advantage. Chip Kelly's familiarity with Mariota's style of play is another edge, giving the Raiders a roadmap to exploit the Commanders' adjustments and maximize their own offensive efficiency. On the Raiders' side, attention immediately turns to the offensive line, a unit that has faced scrutiny through the first 2 weeks of the season. Allowing 7 sacks and 32 pressures already paints a clear picture. Changes are necessary. The offensive line is the backbone of the offense, and if the Raiders hope to sustain drives and give Geno Smith the protection he needs, adjustments must be made. The strategy moving forward should focus on placing each lineman in a role that maximizes their strengths. If Jackson Powers-Johnson is fully healthy, he belongs at center, a position that opens up the run game and stabilizes the offensive front. Jordan Meredith's skills are better utilized as a left guard, where his blocking capabilities can be fully leveraged, while Dylan Parms is more effective on the right side. The misalignment of players in the first 2 games has contributed to struggles in both the passing and running game, and correcting these placements could dramatically improve overall performance. The run game is another critical area for the Raiders this week. Ashton Gentry, the number 6 overall pick in the draft, has yet to fully showcase the talent that made him a top selection. Part of the reason is systemic rather than individual. Gentry has been running behind a line that struggles to open holes and protect him from immediate contact. His stats, while modest on paper, actually tell a story of resilience and potential. He ranks among the most elusive backs in the league when considering players with a similar number of touches. Yet the numbers don't reflect his true ability because he's consistently hitting defenders at or behind the line of scrimmage. The Raiders' offensive scheme has to adapt, giving Gentry space to operate and making him a central component of the game plan rather than an afterthought. Proper utilization of his skill set could not only elevate the running game, but also relieve pressure on the passing game, creating a more balanced and effective offensive attack. Health is another storyline that can't be ignored, particularly when it comes to Brock Bowers. The tight end's availability and readiness are crucial for maintaining continuity in the Raiders' offensive schemes. Bowers missed significant practice time recently, which impacted preparation and timing, but having him fully healthy opens the playbook and allows for more versatile formations. A healthy Bowers means more 12 personnel sets, improved play-action opportunities, and an overall boost in offensive rhythm. It also complements Gentry's running game, as defenses have to account for multiple threats, potentially creating lanes and mismatches that the Raiders can exploit. Meanwhile, the quarterback position remains under a microscope. Geno Smith's performance in Week 2 highlighted some areas of concern, particularly regarding decision-making and reading defensive coverages. While not all responsibility falls on Smith, his ability to respond to challenges and execute under pressure will define the Raiders' offensive identity moving forward. Chip Kelly's play calling also comes under scrutiny, as the balance between aggressive downfield shots and safer, high-percentage plays is delicate. Finding that equilibrium is key, and the Raiders' offensive staff must adapt quickly to ensure that Smith can operate efficiently, reduce turnovers, and capitalize on scoring opportunities. The combination of proper line adjustments, healthy personnel, and smart play calling will be the determining factor in whether the Raiders can emerge victorious against a motivated Washington team. Defensively, the Raiders must be prepared for an offense that will look different depending on who starts at quarterback for the Commanders. The contrast between Daniels and Mariota is stark, and the Raiders' defensive game plan must be flexible enough to respond to either scenario. If Daniels plays, the Raiders face a dual-threat quarterback capable of creating plays on the run and extending drives, requiring disciplined coverage and consistent pass rush. If Mariota starts, the focus shifts to exploiting his tendencies and limiting big plays, forcing him to rely on short passes and controlled reads. Either way, preparation, anticipation, and execution will be key, and the Raiders' defensive coaching staff must ensure that players are locked in from the first snap. Special teams also play a pivotal role in games like this. Field position, kickoff returns, and punt coverage can all sway momentum, and the Raiders must ensure that these units are disciplined and effective. A single miscue on special teams could negate the work done by the offense or defense, so attention to detail is paramount. When every aspect of the game is considered, from quarterback decisions to offensive line alignments, running back utilization, tight end health, defensive schemes, and special teams execution, the Raiders are facing a matchup that is as complex as it is critical. Let's dig deeper into the Raiders' offense, because the story really centers around how they are going to use Ashton Gentry and how the offensive line shapes the entire game. Gentry, despite being a top draft pick, has not yet seen his full potential realized, and the numbers tell a very specific story. Through the first 2 games, he has 30 carries for just 81 yards and a single touchdown, with a long run of 13 yards. On the surface, those stats don't impress, but when you peel back the layers, it becomes clear that these numbers are far more reflective of the offensive line's struggles than of Gentry's ability. His yards after contact, 84 for the season, actually exceed his total rushing yards, which tells you that he is constantly being hit immediately after receiving the handoff, forced to fight for every inch. The Raiders are putting him in situations where he has to overcome too many obstacles just to reach the line of scrimmage, and it's unfair to judge him without considering the context of his environment. Gentry's elusive rating tells another part of the story. Among running backs with 30 or more touches, he ranks 4th in the NFL for elusiveness. That's not just a number. It is proof that when given space, Gentry can create plays, make defenders miss, and generate yardage. The problem is that the current offensive line is simply not giving him the opportunity to showcase that talent. Negative rushing yards before contact, minimal gains on short carries, and consistent penetration by defenders have all limited his production. In some ways, this makes him the perfect example of what happens when talent is constrained by scheme and execution. If the Raiders want to see a legitimate running game, they have to make adjustments not just in blocking schemes, but also in play calling, creating lanes, and giving Gentry the chance to operate in space. The offensive line's performance has been a consistent concern. Allowing 7 sacks and 32 pressures is far from ideal, and the Raiders' run game suffers as a direct consequence. Jackson Powers-Johnson at center is essential for stabilizing the line, while Jordan Meredith and Dylan Parms need to be in positions where their skill sets are optimized. Meredith's experience and technique make him an ideal left guard, and Parms' strengths are better suited to the right side. These changes may seem small on paper, but they dramatically affect both pass protection and run blocking. If executed correctly, the line can create the foundation for a balanced attack, allowing Geno Smith to operate with confidence and giving Gentry the lanes he needs to thrive. Health is another critical factor. Brock Bowers returning at full strength is a game-changer. The Raiders struggled last week without him at full practice capacity, impacting timing, chemistry, and the overall offensive flow. Bowers' presence allows for a more dynamic 12 personnel package, opening opportunities for play action, misdirection, and coverage manipulation. His ability to stretch the field vertically and horizontally creates matchups that can exploit weak points in the defense. Pairing him with a more effective offensive line and a running game that has a clear identity could completely change how defenses approach the Raiders. This isn't just about adding another weapon. It's about creating a system where all parts of the offense can operate at peak efficiency. Turn to the passing game, and the narrative remains the same. Efficiency is tied directly to preparation and adjustments. Geno Smith has the arm talent and vision to succeed, but turnovers and forced throws have highlighted a lack of cohesion in certain scenarios. Chip Kelly's play calling must balance aggression with calculated decision-making, giving Smith options that play to his strengths while minimizing risk. The offense cannot rely solely on deep shots or high-risk passes. The structure has to be there, the line has to hold, and Gentry must be utilized as a consistent threat. When all these components come together, the Raiders' offensive potential is significant, but it requires a level of discipline, communication, and execution that has been inconsistent so far. Defensively, the Raiders need to anticipate the adjustments made by the Commanders depending on who is under center. If Jaden Daniels plays, the Raiders face a quarterback who can extend plays and create pressure with his legs, demanding disciplined coverage and effective pass rush coordination. If Mariota is the starter, the approach shifts, emphasizing containment, forcing short gains, and limiting big plays. Preparation, film study, and situational awareness are critical because the margin for error is minimal. Every snap counts, and the Raiders have to approach this game with a level of focus that leaves no room for mistakes. Special teams also remain a crucial factor. Effective coverage and proper field positioning can influence momentum and swing the game, particularly in a close matchup. A single breakdown on a kickoff or punt can undo hours of preparation on offense and defense, so the Raiders' focus has to extend across all three phases. The quarterback and tight end dynamics intersect with a running game in ways that could define this matchup. A healthy Bowers, combined with Gentry's talent and proper blocking, allows the Raiders to attack the field with multiple threats. Play action becomes more effective, defenses are forced to respect multiple options, and Smith can find windows for high-percentage throws. The alignment and execution of the offensive line amplify these opportunities, creating a ripple effect that impacts every facet of the game plan. When coordinated properly, the Raiders can transform from a team struggling to find rhythm into a unit that can consistently generate explosive plays and control the tempo. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are swirling around Las Vegas as the Raiders reportedly secure linebacker Rashawn Evans, a move that could shake up the team's defensive strategy. Sources close to the organization hint that Evans' addition is more than just a routine signing. It's a calculated push to solidify a defense that has struggled with consistency. The buzz is that Raiders management sees Evans not only as a versatile player, but as someone who can inject energy into the linebacker core and mentor younger talents. Evans, known for his agility and football IQ, has a resume that sparks curiosity. His ability to read offenses and make timely tackles has earned him respect around the league. Though the details of the deal remain under wraps, insiders suggest that the Raiders are betting on his experience to create immediate impact on the field. Fans are already imagining him lining up in key situations, potentially altering the dynamic of a defense that has been searching for a leader. Of course, the rumors have sparked debate among analysts. Some argue Evans could be the missing puzzle piece for a Raiders squad hungry for playoff relevance. Others caution that chemistry and adaptation are always factors when a new talent joins a system midstream. Still, the prevailing chatter in Las Vegas is one of cautious optimism, with social media buzzing every time Evans' name surfaces. While official announcements are yet to arrive, the locker room is said to be buzzing with speculation. Teammates reportedly welcome the prospect of an experienced linebacker joining the fold, and whispers suggest Evans himself is eager to prove his worth in a new environment. The intrigue doesn't stop there. If this signing goes through as the rumors claim, the Raiders could be signaling a more aggressive approach for the season, perhaps even reshaping their defensive identity entirely. As the story unfolds, fans and insiders alike will be watching closely, debating whether Rashawn Evans will live up to the hype or if this is just another off-season story that fizzles out. For now, the Raiders' rumor mill is hot, and one thing is clear. Everyone wants to see if this enigmatic linebacker can turn chatter into on-field dominance. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.